Hey guys! So this is sort of just a what's up, catch up, what magical workings have I been up to video. It's gonna be kind of random, I'm sure, but I just recorded a video request and I just felt like hanging out and chatting a little bit, I guess. Sometimes I feel like I should do a live just randomly, but the only times I ever can are at night when my kids are asleep, and right now it is almost 11 o'clock at night and I don't really think anybody's gonna be around. So I'm just gonna make a random video on what's going on. So I hope you guys had a good week. We have the new moon tomorrow and I'm just gonna tinker with my cards. And that full moon, that eclipse, the last couple of weeks after that have just been like my energy dipped. My kids were just off the wall nuts, and it just seems like I tried so hard to get my energy flowing. I tried to change it up. I tried to kind of work through the transition, but that a lot of the times I tend to feel energized from the full moon, but that one just really threw me out of whack, and I felt kind of a spike in my depression as well. It was so this whole last week things just haven't been going right. It's been frustrating, and so I hope with the new moon I can get back on track, kind of get things rolling. I've been consistently reading my cards every day for a little over a month now. Probably a month and, what is it, the 10th? Yeah, a month and 10 days. Because I started July 1st, and I'm doing a daily draw every day and recording it in I have a tarot journal that's sitting back here. And I'm noticing that the cards are more and more making sense. And the interesting thing about daily draws is it's all about the little picture, not the big picture. Because when you sit down with your cards and you do a spread, you're generally wanting to know more about what's going on in the bigger picture of your life. But daily draw is interesting in the sense of you have to think smaller. You have to think not so much the big fish. So sometimes I'll draw a card for the day and I'm like, what the hell? It doesn't make any sense. And then the next day I'm like, okay, no, that actually made a lot of sense. The interesting thing, though, is I tend to draw in the afternoon, not the morning, because I'm not a morning person, and the first few hours of the morning I'm desperately trying to inhale as much coffee as I can and just get my children fed and changed and happy and content, and it takes my brain like 2 hours to wake up, and so the last thing I want to do is sit and draw a card. I've often thought, like, oh, I should get up early, I should do a morning ritual, maybe it would help me be energized, but I'm not that type of person. I don't feel magical in the morning at all. I feel magical at night, sitting here at 11 o'clock at night, chatting to my camera with my salt lamp on and tinkering with my cards. Like, it's just the way that I am. So, you know, I've been learning so much by just pulling one card a day, and I've been learning so much by just pulling cards more in general, and it's amazing how therapeutic tarot is, and it's amazing how much you learn about yourself through tarot. Well, last night I decided to do a spread on connecting with a deity, which I don't think I've ever really done before. So, but tarot seems to be an avenue that I am just enamored with lately, and I did one for Freya. I called upon her. I have a candle that I made that's hers on my altar. I took my Freya beaded bracelet, and I have a raw rose quartz that my husband gave me for our anniversary last year that my foot's falling asleep. That I don't know, for some strange reason it had to be hers. So I had that with me too, and I drew this spread, and a lot of it was seeming that I was on the right path, and that I am definitely invoking that warrior in me that I've took so long to awaken, and that I've sought after for so long. And it was a very rewarding experience. So I was pretty happy with that reading. I got a lot of interesting cards, but I'm noticing that my connection to tarot, I'm hoping, will just blossom into something great. As I mentioned before, I've been playing with the idea of reading professionally, and it's something that, yes, it would be nice to make a little bit of money, but more than anything else, I think I just want to help people. And I spend my whole day taking care of little people, which is one of the most difficult and rewarding jobs in the world. And yet I still want to help other people. It's crazy. Being such an introvert, you'd think I'd be like, I'm done, but I like helping people, and I seem to be good at giving advice. I've been told I have a comforting presence, so I'm hoping that I can take these things to a good place and maybe help by giving readings and potentially giving advice or counsel in that sense. Something about that seems very appealing to me, so we'll see how far that goes. But I know it's a slow process from my understanding. Either way, I just feel like where my life is taking me and how crazy this year has been, that my path is going to be a lot of my salvation from the hardships in my life. And it has been. It has been since I turned on this path when I was a teenager. I mean, being a teenager sucks. Like, it just flat out sucks. And then most of the time, you're lucky if you make it through high school without anything significant happening to you. And for me, it was almost anything significant that could possibly happened. So it wasn't an easy time, and it's hard to find yourself. And I took my whole 20s still trying to find myself. And then by the time I turned 30, I was like, well, fuck it. So, you know, and so I hope that whoever ends up watching this, that they also take from this that it does take a while to find yourself, and it takes a while to even feel comfortable in your path as a pagan or a witch. So, and it can be overwhelming when you first step on this path, which honestly should be another video I should do entirely. It's just general advice for new witches and new pagans on this path. It can be very overwhelming, and I remember being overwhelmed, but I also remember being obsessed with studying everything I possibly could. I would walk to my public library after school every day, and I would just scour the metaphysical section, and I would find everything I possibly could on it. And I still continue to study. One of my favorite things to do is to go into a bookstore, and I immediately gravitate towards the metaphysical section. It's the section that I spend the longest in, and I need another bookshelf back there. It's ridiculous. Like, I probably actually don't have as many books as a lot of people, but still, I need like a whole nother entire different like copy of that bookshelf. And the only reason why you can actually see some bareness right there is because of the fact that I just recorded a video on books on Norse mythology, so I've got like a stack of books over here too. But, and the thing is that some people studying it doesn't work for them. It's overwhelming, and it's just not their niche. And for me, at the time, it worked perfectly. Now I find that most of the time, if I want to know something, I generally like to watch YouTube videos on it. So I think that just goes into being a visual learner, though. So I'm checking the time on this video. But I don't know. I just kind of wanted to make a little ramble video on where my head's at. What things have I been doing in my path lately, and kind of how my couple of weeks has been. And hopefully I'll be going somewhere awesome with this. And, you know, I'm still getting used to being back on YouTube. I was on YouTube initially when I was 23. That was almost 10 years ago. I'm such a different person now. So it's crazy thinking that, I mean, I never thought I would be back doing this. I never thought that I would be here again talking to the world, but I've come to the conclusion that this part of me is never going to change, so I may as well just keep trying to help people with it. And I remember I used to get a lot of messages about just witchcraft and paganism and how to start on the path and everything that goes into that and everything under the sun about it. And I want to be able to do that again for people, especially now that I'm older. It seems like I maybe would have a little bit more wisdom, and imagine what I could do once I'm like 60. I hope I'm one of those like awesome old witches. Like, that's my goal right there. As my sons get bigger, you know, they'll just be like, it's just mom, yeah. But for those who are mothers, you guys know what it's like to have kids this young. It's definitely a challenge. So, but yeah, so I think I'm gonna wrap this up just because I don't want it to get too long. It's just me ranting here, you know. But the other thing I wanted to mention before I signed off here is that at the end of the month, I think it is, let me pull up my calendar here, the 25th, yes. I'm doing a live show with Palm Tree Witchery, Brittany, and I'm so excited because it's my first live show, so I'm probably going to be so freaking derpy. Ridiculously derpy. But I'll have a glass of wine and we'll have some fun. I think what we're going to be discussing is the Wheel of the Year and how we celebrate the Sabbats and all the fun things we do. And I think the last part of the show is just kind of us, you know, having some fun. So I think it starts at 7 p.m. Central. I know she has a reminder up on her page, but I'm super excited. It's gonna be really fun. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good week. Happy Friday. Happy weekend for anybody out there who's a World of Warcraft nerd. The new expansion comes out on Tuesday. I'm so excited. Anyway, and once again, always taking video requests, always answering questions, always here for you guys. Much love. Blessed be.